Action.
Hi.
Hello. That's Sunday for me. Action.
Why is this?
Rest on
Why
me.
is this thing here? This ugly thing.
What's ugly there? This
Is it part of this?
should be at your back. It's not ugly now.
I can't believe
Wait,
you're
let
not
me
going to
help
stand
you.
up.
Wait now. Got on my tummy.
Which tummy? You're not using it to cover your. Which tummy?
Nah, I'm
Where is
using
the
to
tummy?
cover up.
It's a lie. You did stand up. Jide, can you just tell them who you are?
Okay. My name is Jide Odukoya, and I'm here with my wife and my partner, Morayo Odukoya.
I'ma get it. 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 I'ma get it.
So how did it all start for you in your journey of becoming a photographer?
Okay, so it all started in 2012 while working as a graphic designer at fansconnectonline.com. That's the name of the company. And then earlier in my career, since I've known myself, I've been designing. And, I do a lot of designs with my hands on cardboard. I do a lot of designs with Photoshop, with computers, and all of that. And so while working as a graphic artist, I got bored with the kind of pictures that I see, every day. Oftentimes you see pictures from this particular art collection, mostly white people. So I decided to get a camera because I want to take pictures of black people, and so that I could use for my design. And that was what really prompted me to get a camera. I never set out to be a photographer. I just wanted to take pictures to help what I do. But after getting a camera, I fell in love with it, and then I completely forgot about design. And I think that was just how I started. So what I did was I saved up from the little I was making, saved for like a year, and then I purchased my first camera, which was a Canon 550D, and that's it. So for you, how did it all start?
Did it start? How did it all start?
Okay, how did it all start?
Yes. Well, it started in 2010 when I did my thesis. That's what it's called in school. My final project in Nigerian University is called project. So I actually interviewed about 13 photographers, and that gave me like an insight into what to expect as a photographer and how the realities of the profession. So it helped me look into their life, their work. I studied their work, what they've been doing over time, and it really inspired me to want to go into photography. So that was how it started. On my thesis, I used to work, even during my IT at Vanguard, I used to work at the adverts department. So I used to see this Allo magazine. Then it was Kelechi that used to do their album cover. So, should I call it the front cover? So that was the first time I saw photography as an art, but as a profession it was in 2010. So from there I carried on. I met a lot of people, I networked with a lot of people. I was going on photography walks and what's it called,
photo walks,
exhibitions, conferences.
Yeah.
I did so many things
and that was how I met you.
And that was how we met.
Yeah.
That was how we met on the photo. This guy. In fact, that's fantastic. But that was how I got. That was how I started photography.
Yeah, so was photography your major in uni?
Not really. I studied mass communication, but I made sure everything I was doing was my electives were mostly geared towards video and photo, still images. So it was good. And the kind of school I attended, they made you major in a lot of things. So when you go out, you're very versatile. You can decide, I want to do print, I want to do photography, I want to do video, I want to do broadcast journalism, anything you want to do. So I decided to major in photography. And then I forgot to mention something. My granduncle was a photographer and my grandfather is a photographer. Yes, that was their profession all their lives. So that was like But then,
They were more like
even
your
though,
role
yeah,
model.
yeah, they were more like my role model. I really wanted to continue my grandfather's legacy with photography. So it made it look very hippie and nice. You know.
Okay. Okay, so for me, I studied systems engineering at the
Engineering.
University of Lagos, and nothing like photography. Although when I was doing my CWES program, my 4 month CWES program at the University of Lagos, that was when I worked at the place I mentioned earlier at Quants Connect Online, and after working for 4 months and discovering that I could do something with photography, after getting my camera, I made up my mind I was going to do a project that is related to photography while in my final year. That was my 5th year in school, and so I opted to do. I can't even remember the name of of this my project. So what the project is all about was for us to get a picture of a of of a solid substance through calculations of electrons, the positive, negative, all sort of things, to try and calculate how the shape or the structure of the subject would look like. So for instance, if you give me this phone now, I could plug in some electrons in front and back of it, and then calculate how those electrons move through the solid object, and then create a kind of image from it. And that was what I did in school. So I won't say it's related to anything I did in University of Lagos, looking at what cameras looks like today,
Mm-hmm.
So the next question, why did you decide to go into wedding photography? So I think I should go first.
Yes, mine is very simple.
I'm so excited about it. Okay, so wedding photography for me, came up like later on in my career. So I started off as a street photographer and a street documentary photographer. So I will pick up my camera, I'll go around the street of Sabo, Yaba, around Yaba Tech, University of Lagos. I'll go into different places and then I'll take people on the street. And that's what I really liked then, But at some point when I started sharing my works online, I got to know about one of my earlier mentors, which was in Channel 5. So he called me up one day and then gave me my first job. I second sheeted for him, for a wedding. And then after the wedding, he gave me like 20K. As a final year student at the University of Lagos in
20K was a lot.
2010 to 2011. That was a lot of money. So that, I think that inspired me to learn more in photography. So I was able to get more lenses. Then I did that for like 5-6 times around that semester, and I made a lot of money, and that was really inspiring to me. So after sharing some of his own pictures, and then people started calling me for weddings, and so really I never really set out to do weddings, but again, I really enjoy shooting weddings, and I think that's why I still shoot weddings till today a lot. So a lot of my commercial works are weddings, Yeah. So for you, how were you?
I would say.
Did you decide to go into wedding photography the first day?
No, I feel much of that influence came from him, because after in 2012. I went to work in corporate Nigeria at a firm, and then I left in 2014. So coming back in 2014, it was more or less like my mentor. So I learned from him, and it was just so natural to delve into wedding photography, since that was what he was into. So, and that was the fastest way for me to learn, get back to my camera, get used to everything, Funny, and I fell in love with the craft. It's very fast paced. My best time is the reception. Everybody is like, they're used to you, so they let loose, so you can take as many shots as you want. So I fell in love with it. It was very fast, it was colorful, it was what's that word? It was very romantic, You know, you just watch two people come together and families dance and dance, and there was a lot of food. But and then when you're done, you sleep like a lot.
That's a very good part of weddings.
Yes,
food, you know.
You just eat so much food and you're like, oh my god, is this a carnival? You know, but wedding photography is one of the fastest ways to learn because you're on your toes. It keeps you on your toes, so it's
And I think that was what really,
good.
brought me closer to it, because as a wedding photographer, you have to be a portrait photographer.
Yeah.
You have to be a documentary photographer. You have to be a street photographer.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be like all rounder.
All round, yeah.
You know, for you to be a good wedding photographer. And I think that's part of the things that really,
and then the storyline is like a storyline.
That's one of the things that really drives me to, want to create, those stories, those memories. Want to show those emotions, at weddings.
And then the satisfaction you get from clients when you've shown them the final images is so amazing.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so the next question is
what and who inspires you as a photographer?
Yeah.
Wow, over the years, mine has changed drastically. Over the years, mine has really changed drastically. I used to be so in love with food photography. I actually thought I would be a food photographer.
Oh, yes. We talked about that in 2013, 2014.
I still have it in me because I know I'm still going to go into it when on a larger scale, when the studio has gone fully commercial. That might be my own baby project at that point, and I love babies a lot. So I think a lot of people shaped me over time, like Penny, De Los Santos, different people, But coming into weddings, the first set of people that really that I caught the bug from was, I would say, is Davina and Daniel, because they're couple photographers, and I really saw what our union could be with them. So it was more or less like, they were more or less like our mentors, and we loved their style of editing, we loved their business sense. It just was so natural. And then Christmas Studios was is a difference, of course, but Christmas Studios was another set of couple photographers that really, really, really inspired us. And then in Nigeria, I would say, well, it's not because it's my husband, it was one of the people that really inspired me. He taught me a very strong work ethic.
Really?
Yes, because the first time I worked with him, I said I would never work with you
that in my brain. So I inspire you.
Yes.
Okay, good.
That is it now.
I think you say it again so that I'll have it on camera.
But just enjoy the moment. No overdo. Like I was saying, he taught me a very good. He taught me a very good work ethic. Like I never knew the power of persistence and how to stick to a particular routine when you're working. And he has an excellent eye, like attention to detail. So I learned that a lot. I would say that because it's one of the closest people I've worked with, so I could actually see its workflow and watch how, like, the proper process of being a photographer, a full photographer. Another person that really inspired me, everybody knows, is Tiwa Bello. So not just because she's a woman or a photographer, but because she taught me the power of human connection, and the power of spirituality in your business. And I think that's what has brought us so far in this craft. So that's it.
Okay, yeah, you said a lot. I like you covered, everybody. Okay, so let me just mention my main mentors in photography. China 5 1, Jide Morayo 2, the very strong one, and then Christmas Studios. I learned a lot from those guys.
Oh my God.
And then Davina and Daniel. When I decided I was gonna marry her, they created like a picture of what my life would look like, and I really like their work. I like their style. They have this very bright, vibrant, artistic, documentary style, wedding photographs, which is quite good. And then recently Oh, two man. Yeah, two
Yeah,
man studios are
most
part
of
of,
the
but
time.
I mean, I just mentioned a few,
Yes,
you know.
but
And then
recently it's changed.
recently,
It's
I have
changed.
discovered I love Annie Leibovitz work.
Yeah.
I love
Oh
Tuai Bello's
God.
work. And then there's this new guy, Felix
Felix Kunze.
Kunze. I mean, I'm on him right now.
Kunze
He's like
Okupe.
my number one guy now, you know.
Yes.
I think they said he used to be Annie Leibovitz light
Light
guy,
guy.
you know. Hey, very, very fantastic guy. And, you
Yeah.
know, I love all his, you know, works
And
and projects.
there's one person, there are two people I forgot. One primarily at the beginning, not just until now, but he was very pivotal in
Oh,
my
Bayo
decision.
Moborewo.
Bayo Moborewo.
Oh, yes. Bayo
It can't be
Moborewo
complete
is.
without mentioning.
I don't think Bayo Moborewo is.
He's not a mentor.
He's not a mentor.
He's more or less like
one
family.
of those guys that kickstarted photography.
Yeah.
You know, in my
our life,
in
yeah,
my
in our
career.
lives,
You
yeah.
know, while in school,
And then we met
he
through
was
him.
ahead of me.
We met through him. So
Yeah. So he was ahead of me in uni, and when he came back from NYSC, he came back with this, you know, very bogus, you know, looking camera. I'm like, okay, so this thing looks quite interesting. Then I saw him consistently, you know, shooting with heat. You know, he was so passionate about it. He was, you know, he loved his camera. And then when I also decided to go into photography, after having my camera, he became my best friend. You know, we could, you know, curate our pictures together.
Yeah.
We could look at pictures together.
Constructive
We could go out on the street together. You know, and it was.
he's not a mentor. He's more or less like
he's
a coach. Like a
yeah,
coach.
yeah.
Someone that just
He
always
started
there
this whole
to help you
photography
out.
thing in me, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, it made that passion really stronger for me. You know.
For me, I think person's work I really like now that's super inspiring to me because of the projects I have coming up is to Bryce, you know, the love for women, you know, posture, proper articulation of the woman, the female's body, you know. That's the person that I'm really studying right now. So
Okay, I think I'll take this next one first. How do you think your photography style
I think you
has impacted couples in Nigeria? So our style basically is creating breathtaking memories. You know, we like very punchy, very strong, you know,
very
documentary style, you know, showing lots of emotion. And I think a lot of people look at my pictures and that's what they see. Majorly the emotions, you know, we oftentimes, in short, all the time, we try to show as much as we can the emotion in a particular scene we photograph. You know, there are, if you look very well, you know, at weddings, there are subtle emotions that you oftentimes a lot of people overlook, but those are the things that means a lot to the way we shoot. And I think a lot of people, a lot of couples, you know, have said that about us, and you know, they are oftentimes, you know, tuned towards it. I mean, I've heard people that said they love my pictures because when they look at it, you know, it makes them want to love their husbands or their wives more. You know, which is our
very important
main goal. So creating breathtaking memories, yeah, you know, images, memories, you know, and showing the emotions, you know. So next,
is wedding photography a lucrative business to venture into? Yes, I would not be. I won't tell you a fairy tale. It's a very lucrative business if you know what you're doing. I've learned something with him. It's the power of consistency. If you're consistent at anything, you know, you're good at it, people will come from you. The Bible says, "See thou a diligent man, you know, he will sit before kings, he won't stand before men." And he also says that a man's gift will make room for him. So what happens is if you do your sales well, your marketing well, you know, and most importantly, consistent customer service. If you can do that well, you have your clients, you know. It's a lucrative business. You just have to put in the work. It's a lot of work. Standing for 18 hours is no joke. So you should be able to see value in what you do and cost right, you know, and cost fairly, you know, and then the clients will come. If you do excellent work, the clients will come.
Okay. For me, a lot of people ask me, do you think photography is lucrative? Before venturing into it, and the way I got into photography is completely different. It's not usual. I got camera to take my own photographs and do stuff myself. I never knew you could make money with it. I mean, it wasn't a in short, I didn't even know how to charge, what to charge when I started. So it wasn't the other way around. And then I would say wedding photography is very lucrative. I mean, you can catch out 500% profit, 600% profit.
And you put in the
Sometimes.
work.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to put in the work, the consistency.
Yeah, we don't want to
Um,
make it sound like a fairy tale, like the money is
So
hanging there somewhere.
yeah.
It's a lot of work.
So the next
So you
question.
say, what does it entail to achieve greatness in wedding photography? I just said it's consistency.
Yeah,
If not,
consistency,
you
giving it
just,
the time,
yeah, that time,
spending your 10,000 hours on
hours,
it. I mean, and then staying relevant.
stay relevant,
One
and then
of
good customer
one of the
service. Good customer service.
Yeah. So
Key in
one of the
wedding
things
photography.
we have both decided to do, and then make all our partners and associate photographers do, is to make sure we learn and relearn what we know all the time.
Yeah.
So every time we go for workshops, we just did one at BOP conference, and then we always seek knowledge.
Must learn something.
Any new thing that is
every
out, we
year.
make sure we learn it, and
Yeah.
just stay relevant.
Like you have to stay relevant. Like now
Yeah.
we've had one of the reasons why we delved into portrait photography was our clients kept saying, "Oh, I want to do. I want to do." Do you keep telling your clients no, no? And it's a pivotal part of the business. You promise them a pre-wedding, it must happen. So that was that was one of the reasons why we decided to learn studio photography. So we can cater to them. You can't keep giving people excuses. You are a creative person. You should be versatile. So that's one thing you have to learn.
Were you ever in a position where you lost hope? I don't think so.
Jide does not lose hope.
I personally, I don't think so.
I wouldn't lie. Sometimes I get anxious and I can have. I never have panic attacks. No, it's just that one is the lie of the devil. What happens is sometimes things happen not the way you want. I'm a planner. I plan things to the core. Like I have calculated lifestyle, but I learned how to release my life to the Holy Spirit, and trust His timing. Because sometimes what you plan never happens, and sometimes things don't go the way you plan, and then you lose hope when you are not flexible. You're just saying, I wanted it to go this way, I wanted it to go this way, and it's not going this way, it's not going this way. So you have to make sure that there's something higher, which is faith. For us, faith is very important. You have to learn the power of faith, because once there's life, there's hope. And once you have Christ, because we're Christians, once we have Christ, things will always work for our good, always. So you don't have any option. You just have to have hope. There's no way. You just have to have that hope.
Okay.
How do you react when you're under pressure? Hey. How do you react when you're under pressure?
How do I react under pressure? I'm my best under pressure. Like anytime I see pressure, I'm happy, because I function best that way. Because I think when things are over calculated, like there'll soon be something that would go wrong. I always have that fear when things are going too well, especially for shoots and all of that. Because again, your camera can just fall and your lens, broken. When everything is a bit scattered, everything is scattered already, and then you just want to give it all your best. So I think I'm my best under pressure. I work best under pressure. How do you continuously develop your skills?
Knowledge.
How do you continuously develop your skills? YouTube videos, go for workshops,
interact
with the young
things
generation,
that
ask questions, There's this photo shoot we did yesterday from with Ria Shulanke. She's a
Day
baby
before
photographer. Did it for yesterday, and then I got so curious about what she was doing, and then I learned a lot from her. She showed me some new guys, that are
Yeah.
doing
Even
awesome
yesterday, we
stuff.
learned so much
Yeah,
yesterday.
so I mean,
You
we
have to
always
just
learn all the
yeah, go
time.
ahead,
You
yeah.
can learn from your peers,
Yeah.
from your mates, from your clients.
Mhm.
Always,
Be
seek
open-minded.
to, seek knowledge, especially from your client. Also, ask them what they
Yeah.
like about your stuff, and then improve on it. Um,
So, what has been being a wedding photographer taught you about love and Nigerian couples? Well, Nigerian couples they're becoming more open.
God, I'm not now.
It's not that one,
Yeah,
really.
yeah. Was the profession embraced by your family or did they disapprove it?
Of course.
For me, it was disapproval from day one. From day one, my mom was like, Jide, you've gone to school to study systems engineering. Then now you have a camera. You don't want to save. You don't want to work anywhere. You don't even want to apply for job. And then I'm like, mommy, I'm okay with photography. I just love this camera and I just want to continue. So I think it was every other person in my family, accepted it, but my mom didn't, and it was a big problem. But after a while, I think she could also see that, I think this is what this guy loves, and he's making headway, and that's fine. So now I think she has fully embraced it now. For you, how was it like?
Mine was my dad. It was the same, but not like he disapproved. He just didn't understand what I was doing. It was just like, what are you doing again? You did your projects, it was the most expensive. Now you are now doing, you want to go and do photography. What's this girl doing? And then I'm a girl, and it's very protective of this girl. So it was like, this man's work. You want to go and do a man's work. But then what happened, why he changed was I think his friend showed him some of my pictures and I was like, oh, my daughter did this, fine. And then my granddad was also in the big picture because that was what he did all his life. So by the time he was about to be laid to rest before he died, the day before he died, he asked me to bring my camera, he blessed it, he looked at it around, and my dad was like, that's a very significant moment for you, and I think maybe this is what you're cut out to do, and then from then on he just supported me, and even when I left corporate Nigeria, like, Daddy, I want to do photography, he didn't even object. He was like, oh, if that's what you want to do, go for it, be happy. But my family members, supporters from day one,
At
pictures
least
everywhere.
they have free photography.
Free pictures everywhere, and they're like, my siblings are awesome, like they are like spot on, like big supporters. And my mom was my number one supporter, even when things were not going so well with my photography work, money, getting allowances and this. She really supported me in her own way. So
Okay, what were the challenges you came across while coming up in wedding photography? The basic challenge is your equipment, securing your equipment and getting clients. So for me, it was I didn't start like most people. So I started photography with a camera, and it started like an hobby, and then it gradually I graduated into being a professional photographer where I make money with photography. So for me, I saved up. There's no two way to do it. Do other jobs, save up for a camera and buy a camera. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. And then you can now, map out how to get clients and get more equipment. The basic problem is your equipment and getting clients. But oftentimes when a lot of people ask me, my basic challenge is getting a camera, getting my equipment. And I used to tell them it's not a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
It is never a struggle. If I give you a camera now, how much can you make with it? That's the question. How much can you generate from this particular camera? And I've asked a lot of people, and they now discovered the main problem is actually getting clients. which is very, very difficult, especially in this,
industry.
generation where, a mobile phone is as good as a camera. So you have to really, really do well to, to conquer that,
Yeah. That was quite easy because equipment was not my problem because my first two cameras were given to me by my brother. Amazing guy, like he was just my supplier. And then the last one I had was the real DSLR I got was for my NYSC money. So like you said, equipment is never really a problem. If you really want to go, what brought us together was a flash. I was saving up. He had a flash, I wanted to buy it, and I was saving up to buy it. So if you're really serious about it, it's all a matter of discipline. You just save up and get your equipment. And because without any equipment, nobody will take you seriously. Nobody will take you seriously at all. So I would say my challenge was of course getting clients. It's everybody's challenge. You are so good at this thing, and you just want people that can value what you do and pay. So that's usually a challenge. And then I didn't have a workspace. I used to go from my house to my friend's house, just to work because of electricity. Electricity was my major challenge, But over time, I found a way to. I was working in galleries, art galleries, friends' houses, different places. You just find a way around your challenges if you're really serious about it.
Okay. What has been a wedding photographer
Taught you about love and Nigerian folk.
Oh, I think
So as being a wedding photographer had any positive effects on your personal relationship? Sure, yes. Because we're constantly in the face of love. Like you're constantly bombarded with love from different people, So definitely it's had a positive effect on us. We are hopeless romantics. So it helps us also look at how, sometimes let me give an example. There was one time we were fighting and we had we wanted to. There was one time we were fighting, and then we had no choice but to make up. Is that the word? Because we didn't want to. You can't appear disconnected from your clients, And then we saw their love, how they were, how close they were to each other, how fully immersed they were. The love was there. I was like, God, they see love. They see love.
When you have disagreements, at some point or the other, you still come back to your client's work and you see that these guys are loving each other.
And then we learn.
And you're asking yourself,
learn.
why you?
Yeah, sometimes I learned.
Why are you
there
fighting?
was a particular bride that taught me respect. She was cool throughout the whole shoot. Even when the guy got her angry, she was like.
So being a wedding photographer has really influenced, the way we go about our own personal relationship.
Yeah. What do you work better with a team or alone? You want to die? You work with a team.
We can't do it all the team.
I met Jide.
So even when I shoot with Morayo, we still have a third assistant.
Yes.
So we often when we go shoots, we are like 4 people. So you can never shoot alone. You can't do it alone. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Jumping around, carrying your heavy equipment here and there. You can't do it alone.
When I met Jide, he had like a lot of weddings to edit. I'm like, oh, you have people around you, just tell them to help you, pay them, try and make this thing work. Try and organize it to make it work. He was like, okay, let me try and see how it works, because it was always on the system. They'll bring Jide morning, afternoon, and night food for me. System. That was bad. But thank God we've learned the power of dedication, and the power of empowering other people also in the process. So if you work together alone, all your ideas die with you. If you work with a team, you have an opportunity to bless more people, and that way you're blessing them and impacting their lives. So I'm team. Team.
Okay, so where do you see yourself in competition? First of all, there's no competition. We are just here, with our team,
loving our lives,
loving
exploring our
loving
job.
each other, doing what we do best,
Yeah.
receiving calls from clients,
Yeah.
and then
Finding
trying
the best
to
way to serve them.
trying to create new
New
ways
ways of
where
doing
we can
things.
do things
Yeah.
better in the industry.
I feel.
I mean that's so. I
I feel
don't
if
think
you
there's any
feel there's a
competition.
competition, I feel the person is you probably have you don't think so highly of yourself. Of
Yeah.
course, Bible says don't think so highly of yourself, but at least give yourself some self-esteem or some self-worth. You know, if you feel like there's a competition, it means that you feel like someone
you
is
lost the
taking.
game
Yeah,
already.
you lost the game already. So
Because-
there's no competition.
because now you now want to be like
everybody
another
in life. There's
person.
enough room for everybody to fly. You know, everybody should work on their own because we're all unique. When you have a shoot with you, you experience something different. When you have a shoot with Kelechi, you experience something different. When you have a shoot with Dr. Upload, you experience something different. Or Emmanuel Yeleke or Elena Gode. You know, when people meet us, they experience something different. When people meet maybe Jide Morayo, you experience something. So everybody's bringing their spice into the industry.
Yeah.
There's no competition anyway. It's just it's
So,
in mind.
tell us the time you made a costly mistake.
Camera.
It's a lot.
Anger.
Well, not too much of it. I think the major ones were where number one, where my camera was stolen from my hand, strapped to my body. A Canon
CD with
35mm flash,
memory card from morning,
and then everything I shot from morning to church.
reception.
No, to church.
Reception.
No, we're just
entering the reception.
yeah. So everything
That
gone.
was a costly mistake.
That was a very costly. Well, I won't say it's a mistake, but I mean it's one of the. It's one of the
lessons.
Things you go through as a photographer.
No.
Security is key because the equipments are expensive.
Yeah.
And then we were at the point where we just couldn't do anything about it. The first lady brought in so many security guys. They wanted to bounce us.
There were so many people at the wedding.
I mean,
it was an elite wedding, so everybody had their security guards, and it was just man.
And then
entrance was security was tight.
In that chaos, my camera was stolen. So another big mistake I have personally done was to lose some files. So what happened was I had already copied some pictures on my computer, and then I was about copying it into my hard drive, and then instead of me copying it, I moved it. That means I cut it away. I lifted it from my computer into the hard drive, and then I cancelled it. So it copied some, and then the rest were gone. Like I cancelled what I was copying. So in that process, some files were lost. But thank God I had it on my computer, so I had to recover it. But I got the pictures back. But I mean, yeah. So that happened to me like once or twice, where
but not anymore.
But that can't happen again because I mean,
you've learned over time.
The copying process is a very special one. It's a very sensitive one. So when I shoot, I have somebody dedicated to doing that. You can't do any other thing if you're doing that. You're just meant to copycat, and that's it.
Tell us about the biggest decision you had to make in the last year and why it was so big, and what did you do?
The biggest decision. My biggest decision was to marry you now.
Last year.
Oh, was it stated last year?
In the last year, and why was it so big? Okay, marry me now.
Okay, yeah. First of all, my biggest decision was to marry you because you brought a lot of flavor into. Mariah brought a lot of flavor into what I do. She brought in a lot of structure. To the way I work, how I work. What is to be done. And then getting more clients. I mean, client services basically. But I think the greatest decision we've both personally done is to ensure we save a lot, for what we do.
Yeah, as a photographer,
we save a lot of money.
The profession swallows you, and sometimes you're so caught up in the hype of creativity and you forget to make profit and balance your books. You can easily get over the top. So it's good to have a good bookkeeping system. At least save some money by the side, just for the future, So what happened during our wedding was, thank God we saved a little money aside, because by the time the wedding was over, man, everything was gone, So we could fall back on what we saved, So those are just examples of ways to
Okay,
help.
so
I have
how do
one
you
question I really
see?
like.
Oh, hold on.
I like this
Hold
one.
on.
What's the best memories you've had with the couple you shoot? What's the best memory you've had with the couples? I think the best memory for us is the final, when they get
There are
their
several
final
memories.
images. When they get that
I
their
don't think there are
final
best.
image, we don't have a best, but when they get their final images, the reaction we get is
Okay, maybe you say the last best memory.
Yeah, maybe the last.
So the last one was a period I did for a particular client, and it's a studio shoot. And I was just beginning to learn more about studio shoots, owning my skills in that. And after sending the pictures to her, she was so excited, and she screamed
Very
when
happy.
I called her. She was happy about it, and I just made my day. So that's just one of the. But I mean, there are several memories like I can start saying now. So where do you see photography development in Nigeria in this present era? So photography in Nigeria is a big industry now, and then you just have to accept it that way. So the earlier we start doing things the right way, the better for everyone, including that new young photographer trying to do jobs for free, trying to do all sort of things, just to make sure they are known. Always remember that the little you do affects the industry, and if it affects the industry, it affects you too. In the long run, you can get away with it, 1, 2, 3 months, 4, 5 months, but trust me, after 2, 3 years, you can't get away with it. I mean, there will be expenses you would personally have to do yourself, that will be challenging. So it's better you do it right from start. Charge right, know your value, own your skill, buy the right equipment,
treat your customers
develop.
right.
Make sure ensure that you're part of a major body. You're part of a major force in this industry.
Treat your clients
as
right.
little as you are,
And if you fall out with any client, apologize, own your mistake and let it go. Try your best if you can to make it.
Okay, so the last question: What advice would you give the youth in Nigeria?
Oh, I have a question too.
What advice?
It says, what are the habits you've observed in your husband? He snores when he sleeps.
No, I mean workaholic. I thought that's what you say. Can you imagine? Which one is no? Is that related to photography?
But excuse me, this is about us. They asked me the question. Let me answer. So that's one.
Well, that's not an habit.
Working
Maybe
habits.
I was tired.
I said the wrong thing. Working habits you observe. Jide is excellent. Attention to detail. I can be detailed, but it's more. Why are you like this now? See, if people say good things about you all the time, they lie. There must be one flow. We are not perfect. Like I said, attention to detail.
So
if you are a young photographer, if you're a young photographer and you're just coming up, attention to detail is amazing. I learned that from him. You have to look at something inside out. So how would you advise wives that their husbands have busy schedules as photographers? You just have to find a way to cope with it. You have to understand that it's doing the best for the family at this point in time, and you guys
create timetables
as well for yourself. Have a time for yourself.
That would help a lot. Create timetables. Have a time for work
as well. So if your husband has a busy schedule, first of all, it's a mental thing. Understand that it's doing the best for the family, and then when you guys are together, make sure the time is quality. Make sure it's quality. Don't let it be all work and no play. That's one. Then lastly, what advice would you give the youth of Nigeria? Youth of Nigeria, we are hardworking people. Just keep pushing. For me, my life has operated on the foundation of faith. faith can give me anything I want. That's my belief, you know. Even how how we got our children was through faith in God, you know. How we are surviving in this industry, it's not by our power. We're not doing anything magic. We're not doing anything new or different. It's just the spice that comes with the grace of God. And as a youth, you have to believe in yourself, and you have to be true to yourself. You can't be like everybody. You know yourself and work in your lane. For me personally, it's the core of your life. Know yourself and work in your lane, and know the goals you have for yourself. You know, any small decision can trigger your life in the wrong path. So have faith, know yourself, believe in yourself, and believe you can achieve everything you want to do.
Okay, so what advice do I have for the Nigerian youth? It's very simple. A lot of people would say think outside the box. A lot of people would say solve a problem. A lot of people would say do things that I've not done before. I mean, all these are very they are very cliche. You know, in one word, what they are saying is find a way to solve your own problems. So, for instance, you are a young photographer, you don't have a camera, and you want to start photography. So, I mean, the problem really is not that camera. I mean, but a lot of people wait. They want to get the camera first, and then they just feel when they get the camera, they can start shooting. That is absolutely wrong. So what you should do is find ways of, okay, so how can I get this client that will introduce me to this other client, that will introduce me to this other client. Map it out in a proper business plan, in a book. So if I know Jide can give me 2 people, at least. If the 2 does not work, at least 1 would work. If I get that 1 person, he can give me another person. So if camera is your problem, come and collect my camera. You know, in 1 month, how much can you give me? So when you have the camera, you now discover the problem is not the camera, which a lot of photographers in Nigeria say they have. There are so many people that rent cameras. The problem is, churning out good stuff and getting clients, and basically think outside the box. That's it.
Thank you.
That's it. Hi guys, this is JOP Studios,
And you're watching Solid Stateside TV, and this is how we
Did
did it.